IELTS 17 Test 4 Passage 2, Does Education Fuel Economic Growth? This passage has 13 questions, including information location, summary completion, and multiple choice. Questions are in two types, keyword location, 14 to 22, and logic comparison, 23 to 26. Keyword location needs fast scanning. Logic comparison needs careful reading of opinions. The article has 6 paragraphs, from A to F, about education and economic growth. Passage 1 to 3, research background and database content. Passage 4 to 5, specific cases and data analysis methods. Passage 6, research conclusions and real-world implications. Location questions are in A to F, summary completion is in D, multiple choice is in B and F. Let's look at question 14. Find the paragraph that explains why research needs to focus on individuals with a stable income. Keywords are focus on individuals with stable income and hold wealth constant. Paragraph E mentions the method of holding wealth constant, which means following people with the same wealth level. This matches the question. So the answer to question 14 is E. Let's look at question 15. It asks for examples of the sources used to build the database. Please pause the video and try to find the answer. The keywords are sources and database. Look near the beginning of paragraph A. Paragraph A mentions the database includes court records, guild ledgers, etc. These are exactly the examples of sources. So the answer to question 15 is A. Let's look at question 16. It asks you to find the paragraph about one individual's refusal to obey an order. Please pause the video and try to locate it yourself. The key phrase is refusal to obey an order. Look for a description of someone breaking a rule or instruction in the text. Paragraph D tells the story of Juliana Schweikert. She ignored the Weavers' Guild rules and continued doing work reserved for men. This is a clear example of refusing to obey an order. So the answer to question 16 is D. Let's look at question 17. It asks you to find which paragraph mentions a region that is especially good for studying the link between education and economic growth. Extract keywords, region, suited to research, and link between education and economic growth. Scan the passage. Paragraph F says German-speaking Central Europe is an excellent laboratory for testing theories of economic growth. Laboratory matches research, and theories of economic growth matches link between education and economic growth. So the answer to question 17 is F. Let's look at question 18. It asks you to find the paragraph with examples of personal possessions from a list. Please pause the video and try to locate it. The key words in the question are list of personal possessions and examples. We need to find a paragraph that lists specific items. Scanning paragraph C, we find specific items like badger skins, Bibles, sewing machines, and scarlet bodices. These are exactly the examples the question asks for. So the answer to question 18 is C. Next, let's move on to the completion section for Q19-22. Let's look at question 19. The statement says we can follow the same people and their something across 300 years of educational and economic change. Before the blank is there, and after it is across 300 years. So we need a plural noun that refers to people. The key words in the question are follow the same people and across 300 years. We locate paragraph D. Ogilvy says we can follow the same people and their descendants across 300 years. The word descendants appears directly in the original text. This word is directly given, no synonym replacement needed. So the answer to question 19 is descendants. Let's look at question 20. This is a summary completion question. The blank is at the end of the sentence, and we need to fill in a noun. The blank is after listening to the, so we need a noun here. According to the context, they should be listening to something in the church. Let's go back to paragraph D and find the sentence containing Anna Regina and Magdalena Riethmüller. This is our landmark. The original text says they were chastised for reading books instead of listening to the sermon. The word sermon appears directly in the original text, so the answer is directly given, no need for synonym replacement. So the answer to question 20 is sermon. Let's look at question 21, a completion question. The statement says Juliana was summoned before the guild court and told to pay something equal to 1/3 of a servant's annual wage. What is that something? Before the blank we have paya, and after it equivalent to. So we need a singular noun that means a financial punishment. The words guild court and servant's annual wage in the statement are good landmarks. Let's go back to paragraph D and find where these words appear. Look here, she was summoned before the guild court and told to pay a fine. The answer word fine appears directly in the original text. No substitution is needed. So the answer to question 21 is fine. Let's look at question 22. The statement says the dominance of guilds not only prevented people from using their skills, but also held back even the simplest industrial what? Please pause the video and think about it first. The blank comes after industrial and there is no word after it, so we need a noun here. Also, the adjective simplest tells us the answer should be a singular noun. Let's go back to paragraph D. The phrase dominance of guilds and prevented people from using their skills are exactly the same words in the original text, so the answer should be at the end of this sentence. The original text says held back even the simplest industrial innovation. Notice that the word innovation appears directly in the original text, no substitution is needed. So the answer to question 22 is innovation. Next, let's move on to the multiple choice double answers section for Q23-24. Now let's look at questions 23 and 24, a multiple choice question where you pick 2 answers from 5. The question is about literacy and economic growth. Please pause the video, read options A to E, and try to choose your answers. For this type of question, our strategy is to check each option one by one against the text. A correct option must be directly supported by the text, while a wrong option either contradicts the text or is made up. First, option A says there is very little research on the link between high literacy and higher earnings. But the text mentions many studies, like data from Germany and England. This contradicts the text, so A is wrong. Next, option B says literacy rates in Germany between 1600 and 1900 were very good. The text indeed says Germany had excellent literacy rates in the 19th century. This matches perfectly, so B is correct. Now option C says there is strong evidence that high literacy rates cause economic growth in the modern world. But the text says the evidence for this link is mixed or uncertain. So C contradicts the text and is wrong. Next, option D says England is a good example of high literacy helping industrialization. But the text points out that England's industrialization happened before literacy rates rose significantly. So literacy was not the cause. D contradicts the text and is wrong. Finally, option E says economic growth can help improve literacy rates. The text clearly states there is plenty of evidence that growth boosts education. This matches option E perfectly, so E is correct. After checking each option, we have ruled out A, C, and D, and confirmed that B and E are correct. Now let's confirm the first correct answer. Final answer, question 23 is B, question 24 is E. Next, let's move on to the multiple choice double answers section for Q25-26. Now let's look at questions 25 and 26. This is a multiple choice question where you need to choose 2 correct answers from A to E. The question is about guilds. Please pause the video and try it yourself first. For this type of question, our strategy is to check each option one by one. We look for evidence in the text. If an option has support and is correct, we keep it. If not, we eliminate it. Finally, we select the 2 correct answers. Let's look at option A, they helped young people to learn a skill. Go back to paragraph F. Does the text mention guilds helping young people learn skills? No, it doesn't. So option A is not mentioned. Eliminate it. Now check option B, they were opposed to people moving to an area for work. Paragraph F clearly says guilds blocked labor migration. This matches option B perfectly. So option B is correct. Now option C, they kept better records than guilds in other parts of the world. Does paragraph F compare record-keeping quality? No. It only mentions that guilds kept records, but not that they were better. So option C is not supported. Eliminate it. Now option D, they opposed practices that threatened their control over a trade. Paragraph F says guilds legislated against anything that undermined their monopolies. This matches option D. So option D is also correct. Finally, option E, they predominantly consisted of wealthy merchants. Does paragraph F mention the composition of guild members? No. It doesn't say guilds were mostly wealthy merchants. So option E is not mentioned. Eliminate it. After checking each option, we eliminated A, C, and E. Options B and D have clear support in the text. So the first correct answer is option B. The second correct answer is option D. So the final answers for questions 25 and 26 are B and D. Now we move to the summary part. Let's review the key skills for this passage. Trick 1, opposite meaning or detail trap. Watch for negative words or opposite ideas in options. So the answer to question 19 is descendants. Trick 2, wrong subject or made-up information. Check if the subject in the option matches the text. So the answer to question 20 is sermon. Trick 3, synonym and main idea. Notice how the question changes words but keeps the same core meaning. So the answer to question 21 is fine. One reminder, for gap-fill questions, first read the words before and after the gap. Then find them in the text. Now let's look at the vocabulary summary. We will review important words and synonyms from this passage. Key terms, descendants, sermon, fine, innovation. Also note, refusal to obey equals act of defiance. This is the end of the passage explanation. I hope these skills help you. See you next time.